Okay, I think we're live. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. How's everyone doing? Toby, what up? The sun is coming in and out. It was just out right before I hit live. It'll come. It'll say hello in just a bit. Maxwell, how you doing? Hey. Well, how many of you read The Body? Are we just popping in to say hi, or did you actually enjoy and read this? Man, read this a month ago. Oh, wow. Brave the dentist. Braved the dentist, man. We had my wife, her mom came over like a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, and my wife loves candy, and they got some sort of candy from World Market, and I guess the candy really sticks to your teeth. And my mother-in-law, she's chewing the candy, and half of her tooth just so in that moment she called the dentist. So hopefully that's gonna get figured out. Red pilled. This is my first cup. I like to try to delay my coffee intake about an hour after I wake up. I think I've been up for an hour and a half. We've been up all night watching Breaking Bad. Show's amazing. Oh, you finished it yesterday. Nice. This is going to be fresh for you. It's been a month for me, so it's going to be the memories are fading, as in the details are, but the book was amazing. I have read, not part of the book club. I read about 2 years ago, but I've rewatched the movie recently, so it's fresh in my mind. That's fine. You're part of the book club. Welcome. I want to read Ken Liu this year. Hey. Hello. Love the book and enjoyed the movie. I should have watched the movie. Should have watched the movie right after. Sadly, I didn't. Would have been fun. What did we all think of it? What did we think of The Body? You really should check out the movie. It's phenomenal. I think it's one of the most faithful adaptations from a book to the movie. Yeah, it's perfect. And River Phoenix, my gosh. So sad that he's not with us, because that was such young talent. Yeah, that movie's amazing. And I have it right up there with like Sandlot as a perfect summer movie. And the crazy thing is, this book, it's not your typical Stephen King book. There's no horror in it, at least no monsters, but it's just a good tale about friends. And I really enjoyed it. I thought it was perfect for summer. Just about four friends hanging out, going on an adventure to find a body. That was fun. It was a fun read. What did you all think of it? I like King's shorter works better personally. I read Misery and Pet Cemetery years ago and still think about them sometimes. Yep. Jake, I'm right there with you. I think Misery and Pet Cemetery are right up there with me. As in like top King books. Because I mean, Misery was my first Stephen King book, and it is still right here. I think the first person POV made this book extra enjoyable. I agree. I like that. Because imagine with like in 170 pages just flipping back and forth different POVs. That'd take me out of it. That'd get exhausting. Is that your Stephen King favorite Stephen King book, or is it Misery? Misery for sure. Misery for sure. I want to read Red Rising. Yep. My friend Abe, who you've seen on this channel, he is going to dive into that after Wheel of Time. The Misery movie is great too. Kathy Bates is insane in the best way possible. I didn't like the movie as much, only because I thought the book was just so good in pace and detail, and I felt like the movie was just it didn't capture that slow torture. It felt like remembering something I hadn't realized I lost. Oh my gosh, that hits hard. Those friends you swore you'd never let go of, the ache that comes when life quietly moves on. It broke my heart in the softest way. Yeah. Yep. It's a very tender story. It's got a lot of joy in it, a lot of fun moments. But then there's this sad feeling, this melancholy creeping up. The body was great. Friendship, fear, joy. For a short story, it captures the youth, colorful and nostalgic, but gone too soon. The book isn't just about youth. It is youth. The book is the child. Very good. Very good point. I didn't join the book club since I plan on reading all Stephen King chronologically, but I'm here to listen to the discussion. Okay, awesome. Well, the book is so short, the body, that I don't know. I feel like it's hard to spoil it because there's so much nuance and discussions these characters have with each other that I'm not going to be able to remember to, spoil it for you. So I'm glad you're here. So yeah, hang out, enjoy the discussion. But I don't think we'll be spoiling it too much. I mean, we will, but it's not your typical storybook where there's like a beginning, middle, and end, where there's big story beats. There's no big twist. Hey, Chris, how you doing? It's not my favorite King book, but I think it had some really powerful emotional beats in the way some of his horror books don't quite hit. I think it's going to be a really good. I think The Body is a good book to set me up for it, because it is just The Body, but bigger. And there's an actual, horror side to it, monsters. That's a good point about the book being a slower burn. I like The Shining movie too, but mostly because of Jack Nicholson. Yeah. Still haven't read The Shining, but I plan on reading that this year. That might be a book club book for November. Maybe read The Mist by Stephen King. Also quite a good book. If you ask me, probably not the most well-written novel, but is out there if you like this genre. I love it. I love this genre. I love King. And I think King is his own genre. Everyone has him under the horror section, but he's so much more versatile than just scary stuff. I've never seen someone capture youth so amazingly. King is the master at that. Yes, I agree. However, thanks to Mike's book reviews, I started Boy's Life. I don't know if you're familiar with it. The Body is a great precursor to Boy's Life. You talk about youthfulness. I mean, both books are great, but this takes it up a notch. I'm telling you, it's unreal. So if you haven't, Jared, pick up Boy's Life. It's perfect, perfect end of summer, into fall book. For me, The Body has the best Stephen King ending. It felt like saying goodbye to some friends. Yep. Yeah, I feel like his endings haven't landed with me. It's the journey to the ending that I've enjoyed so much. This book is such a good representation of childhood, how at a young age your circle of friends is everything, and how sometimes people fade in and out of your life. That's a great point. I think about that all the time. My wife and I've been blessed with just amazing friends. Not crazy amounts, but the friends that have that soul companionship and like-mindedness, and it's a beautiful thing. And two of our close friends moved to Arizona. One is becoming a pilot, and it hasn't been sad because we aren't young 12-year-olds going into high school and graduating from high school to college, where a lot of friends split. Thankfully, at the adult age of 30, you celebrate that. So it hasn't been like losing friends, although there's been plenty of friends lost. And this book definitely hit that for sure. Similar to what others have said, it feels like a funeral. Yes, that's a good point. Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes. It's okay. I don't mind the spoilers since I won't be reading these times soon. A lot of writers can remember events of childhood. Well, Gaiman, for example, but Stephen King remembers the feelings of childhood best. Yeah. Yeah. Didn't realize how much growing up is about. Yep. Very true. And also, it's these boys, it's this book captures nostalgia perfectly. Those endless summer days, endless summer nights where all you care about is where are we going to ride our bike? Where can we get the nearest Coca-Cola? But they end up having to face that reality of like, what am I going to do after this? What is adult life going to be like? Because each of these kids came from such a messed up house life. Their parents aren't necessarily setting them up to, for a bright future. And it's a little sad. It's like, dang, I grew up here in this small little town, but am I going to even get out of this? Boy's Life is on my list, so I'll get around to it eventually. Yes, King isn't great at endings. It's a well-known thing. He says he hates trying to explain the why in stories, and I think that's part of it. Endings usually wrap up why things happen. That's a good point. Yeah. I like endings that are just very almost full circle, um, or just mundane. I prefer to see King's body of work as not horror fiction, but as tales of courage, sacrifice, and heroism. I like that, Ron. Yeah. I heard a lot of people complain about King's endings. I haven't read any of his books yet, but I guess his endings try to reflect life. And in life, we don't always get closure. Yep. There was, though this isn't The Body, and I mean, I think The Body has that in spades, but there's a moment in this book that was so real life, and it was about that closure. You know, you introduce a character, but then this character basically leaves the story halfway through, and it's sad, but I think that's what authors need to do more. You know, stories shouldn't just wrap up in a nice little bow. I like it when stories have, or even characters leave a story midway through and it's kind of abrupt. But really, that happens in life. Like you said, we don't always get closure. And, you know, like my friend moving to Arizona in February, um, that was kind of surprising. And it all kind of hit us like, oh my gosh, this is really happening. And thankfully, you know, we're still in touch, so it's not like no closure. But that's the only example I can bring up. I think the body of the child in the story is literally a metaphor for death of childhood. Yeah, I think that is a good point. Because it's that ending of childhood where where that reality sets in. It's like, what am I going to do now? Who's your favorite character in the book? I love Gordy, and I love that Stephen King, yet again, has a main character that is a writer, that's an author, and you kind of get little glimpses of his short stories, and I think that's really cool. The body and boy's life are both told by men looking back, not just to remember, but to reclaim something sacred that vanished between boyhood and manhood. Yep. Also, as a person from a rough upbringing, you really feel the weight of that topic. You know you're destined for nothing and feel helpless. Still struggle with myself in my 30s. Sorry to hear that. It's we all have different lives and backgrounds and upbringings, and it's tough. I've tried reading 3 Stephen King's. It, Stand, 11/22/63. DNF'd all 3 of them due to basic writing. Will I like this book? Oh, wow. What are some of your favorite books, just in general? And what kind of, like, I don't know, writing styles you like? Uh, I think this is not nearly as, like, complex of a story. It's very simple. Um, as in it's very, it's self-contained, it's not crazy layered. There aren't hundreds of characters, and the story beats are very just everyday life that I feel like you might not enjoy it if you don't like, maybe you just don't like Stephen King's writing style. He's not for everyone. Hello. Just dropping in real fast. Hope everyone is having a great day or evening or night. Great seeing you. Thanks for saying hi. Like Middlemarch, Moby Dick. Hmm. Yeah, I mean this guy King may not be your guy, and that's okay. Sanderson isn't my guy. I think his writing is very he's a popcorn kind of read. Um and I don't vibe with his style as much. I think you could say King's writing is basic from a beautiful prose perspective. The beauty of his writing comes from the full scope of his story. I agree. His writing isn't like groundbreaking, and I've said this a lot on my channel that King is such a great storyteller that it doesn't really matter about, you know, his word choice. Although his word choice I think is a little more mature and better than, you know, Marvel superhero movies and you know, popcorn fantasy. Um It's the meaning and that feeling you get from his stories and those characters that he just crafts so beautifully. Oh, hey, this is my favorite King book so far. I did like Misery, The Mist, but those are more the scary side for me. Yeah. The cool thing about King, man, he's not always just scary. He does great work in just characters. Um, People keep telling me to excuse me, to read 11/22/63. I don't think there's scary elements in that. I think that's more of a thriller, and like a romance. You might want to give that a shot next. Excuse me. The Body is some of his best prose, but if you're really picky about writing style, then I just trust your gut. It's not something I think about whatsoever, to be honest. Yeah, I like that everything in King's novels feels so real, although this is fantasy. Horror kind of makes it more scary. There is art in having straightforward, flowing, and highly readable prose. I agree. And that takes skill. That takes a lot of skill to do. It's not easy. An author I can't wait to get into is Le Guin with Earthsea. Apparently, she writes fairly similar. The writing is quick and poetic, but the beauty comes from the scope. Oof. Yeah, I have her whole collection of the Earthsea books, and oof, cannot wait to read that. She is a legend. King writes as if he's telling a story to a close friend. I agree. It's almost as if you're at like a bar or a coffee shop, and it's just hanging out, and he's just telling you a story, a campfire story. Oh wow, awesome! I'm glad you tried him out. I think this was a good first start. Green Mile is another King book that made me tear up. I have yet to read that. And I'm pretty sure it's in the same short story collection that The Body is in, different seasons. I was mad at King when I read 11/22/63. I expected to learn history, and he made me feel overwhelming emotion and cry like a baby instead. Yeah, it's a book I have yet to try, but definitely want to. Um, his books always feel personal. His best books are the ones that you feel he'd have written for himself, nobody else. Yep. That's what I love when an author does that, not writing for other people. About The Body, I wanted to talk about, um, I wanted to share something. My uncle sent me a nice text. He's part of my little book club. Uh, this was his thoughts on The Body. Just a nice book about friends or friendships you wished you had. At once deeply profound and yet fleeting, how these boys would be barely acquainted by the end of year one in junior high. I never realized growing up through school that this was prime time for establishing relationships. It only seems to get more difficult to make lasting friendships as you get older. That's a very good point. There's also a deeper undercurrent here that might be worth pondering. It is called The Body, and it ultimately centers on the untimely death of a peer. It is a culture of death, and each of our protagonists has a specter of death around them. It is a miracle any of them even lived as long as they did, given traumatic histories, near misses, and getting the living snot beat out of you. I guess it's common grace for all of us, but the Reaper will come either young and tragic or possibly 80 years from now, tucked in warm and surrounded by family. No one gets out alive. And the magic of the journey, which is mirrored in so many other good stories. Having finished Assassin's Quest by Robin Hobb, That was a long journey. The Hobbit or Lord of the Rings being so far from home. And then he quotes, "Mind your feet leaving your doorstep, Bilbo. You never know where the path will take you." That's those are my uncle's thoughts. Never actually read any King. I'm a long time Clive Barker fan though, whose career King very much helped, and I've heard they're very similar. Oh, okay, cool. You know who I haven't read is who's who's King's son? He writes books. Joe something? Ugh, I don't know. But I'd like to read him. I've just had my first dud experience with King, with The Running Man. Everything else of his I enjoyed so far. Mr. Mercedes is next for me. I enjoyed Mr. Mercedes. I'm not the biggest fan of his modern books. Um, he's definitely gotten into the habit of just writing crime thrillers rather than, um, you know, character books and horror books. I do miss that classic feel. Thankfully, I haven't read a lot of Stephen King, so I'll be able to. I have his whole library to read. Joe Hill, that's who it is. Yep, I want to read Nosferatu. That'd be a fun Christmas read. Is that about vampires? He said that he writes his books with his main reader in mind, which is his wife. Maybe that's why his books feel so personal. Wow, that's a good point. His wife is so integral to his career. I mean, if it weren't for her, Carrie would be the bottom of a wastebasket. I wish there was a way to know you're in the good old days before you've actually left them. That's a good point. That's something that has hit me more and more, and especially reading The Body and Boy's Life, that, the older I get, I'm just like, gosh, you don't know what you had until you lose it, or until it's gone. And I see that all the time through just mainly how video games and movies are made, because those are so close to me, growing up playing the old Call of Duties and just seeing how Call of Duty has changed so much, or just how there just isn't a lot of passion in video games as much today. Um, but yeah, I do wish I was able to remember and like soak in those times and take mental pictures of my childhood, because the body captures that that nostalgic summer feeling, that endless summer day, the hot sun hitting you, and it just brings me back to the times when I would play basketball. Moment I'd wake up, eat breakfast, maybe play a video game or something, and then I'd go out, play basketball all day with my friends. And then I'd blink and those street lights are turned on. And then I hear my mom yelling at me, calling me in for dinner. Yeah, it's good stuff. Clive Barker? Is he an author or like a film director? I thought it was going to be a Joe King joke. I haven't read any of Joe Hill's books yet either. I plan though. I'm I'm not familiar at all with this Clive Barker guy. Shining had a good ending. I felt so worried. Little boy, he gets you attached to the kids. I'm excited to read The Shining. Saw the film years ago, loved it, but the book I hear is on another level. And I hear it's one of those books that really, really scare you. Annie Bernard, classic quote right there. Ain't that the truth? Hey, how you doing? Oh, he's an author. Okay, illustrator and film director. A great book to start is The Thief. Oh, it's a short, super short, dark. Oh my gosh. Let me write that down. One thing I love about The Body and just Stephen King, how he does coming of age stories so well. And though I haven't read a lot of his books, I've watched a lot of Mike's book reviews and him just praising Stephen King so much with just how King writes coming of age stories and how he's the master at it. And we talk about you don't know what you have until it's gone, and how we love the old days. The older I get, I think the more I want to read those kind of books, because I'm not a father yet, but it would be fun to just feel like a kid again and maybe remind myself and maybe even prepare myself for being a father. After reading The Body, I picked up Slumboy by Juano Diaz, and it changed everything. Fiction whispers, wet memoir like this screams. Some childhoods don't leave bruises, they leave scars. Okay. I think we've all been one of those kids at some point. That's the genius of King. I know, right? He does such a good job with creating a universal feeling and that relatability. And like even in his books, no matter what genre it is, I feel like we've all been one of those characters. Or at least we can relate to certain characters and stand by them. Now you're getting me excited to read more Stephen King. I think that's why It is so popular, waiting to read it, but there's like 7 different children coming of age. There's like 7 different children coming of age. You're bound to relate to one. Yeah. If you love The Body, try A Land More Kind Than Home, a beautifully written novel fiction about childhood secrets and the quiet weight of things left unsaid. Oh, more book recommendations. I love it. I won't deny those. More kind than home. I found The Shining to be one of his more average books, perhaps because I already knew the plot and still rather read an average King book over anything else, though. Yeah, it's a good point. With how much you enjoyed The Body, you'll love It, Thomas. I'm excited. I'm very excited. Again, if you have not read this, please pick this up. This is amazing. I'm making another video on it. Probably be posting that soon. It's so good. So good. I'm excited to pick up bigger books. There are going to be a few small ones coming up, but I'm excited for Lonesome Dove and It in the coming months and year, because it's nice to be stuck in a book for a while and that book be standalone. It's not just some giant book that's one of 7 books in a series. There's something about the way King writes childhood. It's not just accurate, it's emotional truth. Yes, very true. He isn't just accurate for the time and the era, but those exact feelings you had as a kid and those questions you had as a kid. Like, hey, what am I going to do in life? What do I want to do? So good. He remembers what it felt like to be small, scared, and full of wonder. Very much. After reading so much dark fantasy recently, these non-fantasy books somehow feel more fantastical. That's a good point. Again, like I've said, I think I said it in my last live stream that I'm not I'm taking a break from sorry. It's a work text. Goodness. Yeah, I've just been taking a break from fantasy. I don't know. I really want to connect with more, not real, but just stories that are told within our world. Yes, Boy's Life is on my Kindle, and I will at some point, maybe next summer. Oh, if you got time to start it now, it's an easy read, easy breezy read. I don't know how fast of a reader you are, but now's the time. You've got it's the end of July, or no, it's August. It's perfect time to start now. But maybe just wait next summer. That's okay. I would have loved to see how Kubrick's Shining turned out if you followed the book more closely. Yeah, I heard it's really different. Looking forward to Something Wicked This Way comes in October. Only book I reread each year without fail. Oh, I can't wait. Toby, I did something bad, and I opened that book up, and I read the first page, and I think you're right. He definitely has like a Rothfuss feel to his prose, to that bum 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 like rhythm of how those words and sentences connect. Oh, it's so good. Do you think the stories like The Body stay with us because they tap into a kind of loss we already carry? Maybe. And maybe it's not loss, but it's appreciation of the memories we do have. That's how I look at it. And I know I've said, the older I get, the more I want to feel that nostalgia and that magic of childhood. But maybe it's less about the loss and more about how thankful I am for the childhood I had and those memories I had as a kid. And that I would want to honor my child and provide that magic for them. You know what? Yes. I'm telling you, how fast of a reader are you, Fantasy Fanatic? Because I think the way this book is written, although I've slowed down, I think you could read 100 pages a day, like just 100-page chunks. It's that good. Oh, it's so good. Hoping I haven't hyped it up too much, but it is the best book pound for pound I've ever read. Hey, hype does ruin things, but also it can help. And I trust you, Toby. I really do. I think you and I think alike with how much we appreciate art and film and stories. That I think we're on the right track. I've been trying to prepare more of a lineup for autumn and spooky season reads. Any other suggestions? Something Wicked This Way comes. That will be October's book club read for sure. I will be choosing that. Autumn season reads, I heard Anxious People by Frederick Bachman is good for autumn. I think. Maybe August, but maybe give that a shot. Let me look at my bookshelf real quick. Have you read Salem's Lot? Because Salem's Lot's a good one. I always read 3 books at once, different genres. If they're all the same, my brain short circuits. Yeah, that's a good point. If I were to ever read 3 books at the same time, I would want them to be different genres. However, I don't read any books at the same time. I like to read one book at a time. That's just how my brain works, and it helps me just appreciate the book that's in my hand and really give it my full attention. Real quick, let me do this work text. I'm finishing up a wedding film for a client, and they send me sometimes I ask for little clips or photos, from their relationship, cell phone videos and photos, and I like to maybe include that in there. So it's almost like including home videos in their wedding film, and it creates that emotional connection in it, and it helps tell their story more. So that's what's happening here. Apologies. Okay. I've been using the same crisp autumn leaf as a bookmark for Something Wicked This Way Comes. Wow. I love that. Hey, honey, don't you have like dried flowers in a book right now? Mm-hmm. That's cool. Yeah, my wife has that. I would say I'm an average reader in terms of speed. I just started a chunky book though, Column of Fire, so I'll get started in the coming weeks. Love to hear it. I think you'll love it. Toby, I'll be going to Salem MA September, so that's perfect. I'm going to start Lonesome Dove or The Count of Monte Cristo next. I really want to do Count of Monte Cristo eventually, but Lonesome Dove is. I'm going to try to time it. I'm holding off on Red Dead Redemption 2 because I'm waiting for that next gen update. But once that happens, I would love to time it to where I read Lonesome Dove alongside Red Dead. Yes, I have read Salem's Lot. Okay. Looks like I need to go book shopping this weekend. Added Anxious People and Salem's Lot to my list. Thank you. Absolutely. Yeah. My neighbor is borrowing Anxious People. I really want to read that next month. Only time I ever read 2 books at once. If one of them is a short story collection, I'll read a story at night before bed. Nice. Anxious People was good, but Beartown, that one punched me in the soul and stole my lunch money. Yeah, Beartown is sitting on my shelf waiting for me. we'll see. See when I get started on that. Oh, hey, I myself am rereading Between Two Fires by Christopher Buhlman in October. I read it for the first time last year in October, and it became my second favorite book next to The Alchemist. Wow. Very cool. Yeah, I would read that if I didn't have just some other books lined up. Not to keep evangelizing Clive Barker, but I reread Hellbound Heart every September. The idea of Cenobite in that novella is very important. Demons appealing to man through his appetites. Okay. I know this is kind of gotten away from the body book club discussion, but we can move on, talk about other things. I know the body is, we can't sit here and talk for 5 hours about, a 170-page book. I mean, I feel like there's only so much we can talk about. Uh, is there anything else that you'd like to bring up about the body? Any questions, any ideas, any fun thoughts? Some of your favorite moments, favorite characters? I use magic cards that pertain to the subject of the book I'm reading. Oh, very fun. I'm excited for the new set. I think the last few sets I've skipped, and I look for versatility in a set, not just for Commander, but for Standard and Cube. I don't know if you've played Cube, but Cube is basically a pool of cards that you design and create. I mean, you don't create the cards, but you design the cube. And then you and your friends draft and you make decks and you do 1v1 matches. And it is phenomenal. Amazing. Amazing to see all these little cards kind of work together, different combos and synergies. First read The Body in my early teens and it felt like I was hanging out with them. Now, rereading as an adult feels different. Yep, that's a very good point. It's almost like when you read Harry Potter. I think Harry Potter is a good coming of age series too, where I didn't get to read it as a kid, but I know it would have hit different, if I was Harry's age. But reading it as an adult, I'm not growing up and looking forward to the future with Harry Potter. I'm looking back at how it felt growing up. Have you read The Way Home by Peter S. Beagle? What? Wait a minute. The Way Home. Don't I have that? Let me check real quick. Oh yeah, I have that. Yeah, I'll dive into that. That would be really fun. Anything to get more symmetric if he's in it, because he's my favorite wizard. Telling you, I would choose him over Gandalf and Dumbledore and all that. The thing about The Last Unicorn, I would love that to be a book club book, because I would love to reread that and we can all talk about it, because that book, yeah, that's going to happen. We're going to do that. The Last Unicorn will be a book club book eventually, because I want to talk about it with you guys. There's so much to it. Just order my copy of it. It'll probably start it whenever you do. Nice. Been munching away Count of Monte Cristo. First third of the book flies by, but now I'm very close. Taking my time. Okay, cool. Yeah, my wife, she really wants me to watch the movie, but I'm like, no, I want to read the book first. And there's another book that is really long that I want to read is Don Quixote. Reading it right now, and it's probably going to be my second favorite book ever, right behind Dune. I love that. The video I made recently, I don't know if you've seen it yet, where I talk about, deleting your TBR or putting it away for a little bit, and making a book list of 10 books that you want to read before you die. Dune Lonesome Dove, It are all on that list. And so far I've read a handful on that list already, and I haven't replaced anything on it yet, but that would be fun to do. I have to say, recent video about deleting your TBR. I love that I just said that. The timing of that. I'm happy it helped. Um, I didn't want it to come off like stern and strict, like, "Hey, I'm above you. I don't have a TBR. You should delete it too." No, it's just providing a perspective, like, "Hey, let's let's skip out on this giant list and simplify it. Maybe make a shorter list or just approach your bookshelf as your TBR." That's how I do it. My TBR is my bookshelf. Um, I think if I had a list, it would be books that I want to buy, and add to my collection. Um, but reading the books, I don't abide by a list. So uh, glad it helped. Curious to know what scene was the most impactful for you in the body. That's a good question. Um, that's ugh. I hate to say it. Like I read it so long ago, like what feels like a while ago, that I'm so lost in this book that this is fleeting. Um, there was a particular moment. I just love Chris because he's like the tough guy who stands up for his friends, and it might have been it's there were so many moments in the body that I loved. Number one, I loved how the kids talked to each other. You know, growing up, when you learn to cuss, and you're like, "Why am I cussing? I'm just doing it to fit in or be funny." You know, we wouldn't cuss nearly as much as those kids, but that was relatable and fun. And it was just fun to see how those kids talk to each other. I love the campfire stories. I loved just talking about the future. I think that might have been the most impactful. Um, just juggling that whole reality of what am I going to do? What happens next? Because I need to ask myself this giant question. Like, I'm not a kid anymore. But I also love Chris just standing up for his friends. That's sweet. What about you? What were some of the most impactful scenes, or what was the most impactful scene for you in the body? On a different note, Thomas, can I ask your advice? I promoted my channel through YouTube and gained subs, but hardly any views or engagement. Not sure what I'm doing wrong. I I couldn't tell you. I don't know the algorithm really well. All I know is principles of just. I personally don't like to look at the analytics as much as possible. I like to look at what time my viewers are on so I can post my videos at a specific time. But I'm not looking at how long people watch my videos, when they drop off, that kind of stuff. Um, I look at just how I handle myself, and I just want to be honest and be myself when it comes to my videos. And that's like really the only advice that I have is be honest, be yourself, and have fun doing it. Um, because I feel like those the subs and the views, that'll happen in its own time. And all that matters is you have fun during this journey, because it's an amazing journey, you know? Booktube and YouTube, and just having the confidence to put yourself out there, that alone is a lot. That's a big deal, and that should be celebrated. Hardly any views or engagement. I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong. I would just do research, as much research as possible, and see if there's different strategies that you can, you know, try out. Sorry, I'm behind in the chat right now. I read The Last Unicorn the other month and already want to reread it. I know. I wanted to reread it right when I finished it. I only collect Magic cards because of the art. I was a competitive Yu-Gi-Oh player until 2015, and that was the game I dedicated my brain to. Magic has so many cool looking cards, though. I agree. Just came to the live, seen other people talk about it. I've received my copy yesterday. So excited to read it whenever you do. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. And I appreciate you want to wait. Maybe we should have it be a book club book. But that's going to take a year for me to read. I don't think I'll have it be a book club book. It's too big. Yes, I've been waiting to read The Last Unicorn. It's a book club one. I'll have to. Yeah, that Last Unicorn's going to be for sure. I also deleted my TBR. I don't want reading to feel like homework. Love it. Love it. And there's nothing wrong with a list. You know, to-do lists, chore lists, grocery lists, book lists. But it's how you approach it and how that list influences how you read and go about in your day. Never read The Last Unicorn. Now want to read it. I'm telling you, it's an amazing book. It's yeah, wait on that. I'll put it up as a book club book soon. I don't know when, but it's beautiful. One of the most beautiful books I've ever read. It did help to delete my TBR. I'm actually looking at my bookshelf now. Right? I love that. I do the same thing with video games, where I try to delete all the games that are on my system. So I only have like a handful of games that I'm actually playing. So it doesn't influence me to jump here. It forces me to focus on the task at hand. I can never pick a top book of all time. I fall in love too easily. Every book I read is suddenly the one until the next chapter. What do you think constitutes a favorite book? The book you think about the most, the best experience while reading, or most read? Because that tends to give me 3 different answers, not one single book. I think for me, it's a book that I think about most. That's how I gauge that. And maybe in tandem with the experience while reading. Because the experience helps me remember that book more, and it helps me connect what was going on in my life at the time while reading that book. Very much like Wheel of Time. Yeah, what about you? What do you think? The body is full of quotes that really hit me, especially the Secret Heart one. Yep. For me, the one-on-one conversations with Chris were my favorite in the body. So thought-provoking. For me, really impactful. She's pouring a cup of coffee right now.
You know I'm doing that.
I know.
Hold on, give me your cup.
Oh, I get a little refill, a little top off?
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Wow. Second drink. Oh my gosh, there was a lot in here. For me, really impactful was the way he described his relationship with Chris, mostly his character. How kind he was despite his life. That's what's amazing about how these kids are so selfless, even though they've been, having these rough upbringings. The most important things are the hardest things to say. They are things you get ashamed of because words make them smaller. Just a quick example of how King is a wordsmith. Yep. And how it's relatable. It's not just poetry for the sake of poetry. It hits hard. Gordy having a moment with the deer where he later reflects that words would have ruined the moment. I love that. Yeah, right? Oh, now you're taking me back. Yep. Sometimes a moment, like nowadays we love bringing out our phone to take a photo, to take a video while we are experiencing something. And no, I'm kidding. I just feel like we should live in the moment. Maybe not pull out our phone and take a photo and video. Just enjoy it. Because maybe that picture can't capture that exact moment and what you were feeling. Problem is we all have more book shopping lists than I agree. Yep. That's you've added 2 books to my list right now. Christmas is coming. Thank you, Thomas. Appreciate the advice. By the way, you're so real, so grounded. It makes people feel seen without ever being judged. That's a rare gift. Wow. Thank you. I want to be as honest as possible. And I appreciate you being honest with me and just being able to have a conversation. Love that. As long as you don't let the sewer scene ruin it for you, I don't see how you couldn't enjoy it. Okay, I don't know anything. I'm ready to dive in. I've been watching you for a while and really enjoy your content. I'm curious, how do I join your book club? You just join. You just hop in. There's no signage. There's no contracts. There's no payment. It's free. Every month, I will either pick a book or put books up for voting, and we go from there. And whatever book is chosen, that's the book for the month. And then at the end of the month or the beginning of the next month is when we have this live stream and we hang out and talk about it. It's easy as that. By the way, for those of you who do not know, All the Pretty Horses is the book of the month for August. I've been craving a Western, and I think this is a perfect book for summer and for Westerns. The Last Unicorn could be a good November book club. That slow slip from a burnt autumn into a chill winter. That is nice. I think it's best experience. Not exactly a spring chicken, so if I still remember it, trust me, it must be really good. Hey, Trail Mark. I would stay, but I just started The Body about a third through. Next up, Lonesome Dove, something big, TBD. Hey, I will be reading Lonesome Dove soon, probably the next few months, maybe December. So maybe if you want to, you can hold off and we could read it together. That'd be fun. The book or story that sticks with you the most, I would say, are what I would call my favorite. I agree. I think about it and 11/22/63 every single day. They change the way I think about life. That's when you know you got a good book, when it hits you that hard. I think about Blackwater the most, but I'm never amazed by the read. I read Something Wicked This Way Comes every autumn and always love it. But one experience has topped the first last, but no one experience has topped the first Last Unicorn. Yeah. That's the thing with me, with Name of the Wind and Boy's Life. They're right there at number 1. I don't know which one takes it, but I think I'm going to be thinking about these the most. Did you make a PB&J? Oh, wow. A morning PB&J. I've never had that. That's awesome. Cool. By the way, my this makes me feel like a kid again. So I'm chewing. Okay, I won't eat on the live. You gonna play Fortnite? All right. I have watched the Stand By movie. Only once. Sadly, I should have watched it after The Body. That would have been nice. Are you considering Something Wicked This Way comes from October book club? If so, I'm definitely joining, as I've never read Bradbury. Yes, I am. That's full stop. That's it. Something Wicked This Way comes will be the book club book for October. Do you think you'd ever consider hosting a Discord to have group discussions throughout the month? I think it's an idea, but I'm already dealing with, live streams. I think live streams is a good. It's a way to have discussion in a more conversational way. So that maybe, but I don't know. I don't know. These massive books scaring us off are normally the length of single fantasy installment. Yep. Yeah, I'd be down. Let's do it. Let's do it. Hey, Red, how you doing? Really enjoyed The Body, finished it so quickly. I know it was an easy read. Why read Boyd's Life for nostalgia when you can have one bite of a PB&J? That's true. Although I don't think he has any peanut butter and jelly sandwiches in Boyd's Life. Maybe I haven't gotten to that part yet. I was going to say, talk about channeling your inner child. Sugar for breakfast. I know. Looking back at it, I used to eat like toaster strudel and just the sugary cereals for breakfast. Now I eat oatmeal with blueberries, and that's it. Nothing else. I watched Stand By Me right after finishing the book. Both are great. I know. Like The Body, I feel like is a more complete version of Stand By Me, but Stand By Me is such a good movie that it stands on its own. Okay, count me in. Awesome. I want to ask a question. Speaking of like summer and summer books and The Body by Stephen King, being that kid, what are some of your favorite summer memories? Okay. Thank you, hon. Favorite summer memories. I have a summer birthday, so birthdays are often my favorite memories. That I remember. Just getting spoiled rotten by my aunt and uncle. All the toys, all the gifts, bike rides. Wasn't the biggest bike rider though. I had some friends and some neighborhood bullies who loved riding bikes. Loved it. But really, my summer memories were playing basketball till the streetlights came on. Slip and slides. That was fun. Pools. Although I can't swim. I'll never forget 7th grade, the summer of 7th grade and 8th grade. There was like a 4-year span where every summer we'd go to Six Flags, like twice. It was crazy, just roller coasters and roller coasters. But 7th grade, that summer, Call of Duty World at War, Zombies, changed my life. My friend, I think he lived at my house all summer long. We'd eat junk food and stay up late at night, just playing zombies, Call of Duty Zombies, and it was so much fun. And then in high school, I just made a lot of short films with my friends. A lot of those. A lot of stupid short films. And that was on my old YouTube channel. And that YouTube channel doesn't exist anymore because Google took it down. Copyright stuff, I guess. We lived right next to a playground as a kid. Best memories, were able to go over there whenever we wanted. Oh, I love that. Every time I see a park as an adult, I just have those waves of emotions. It's kind of, it's just fun, you know. We have a niece and nephew, and it's just great to see them go on the playground and just get lost and play. Probably playing street hockey and basketball with my neighbors. Oh, love that. I always think of the Nickelodeon show Hey Arnold, how they play baseball and they got to wait for cars and then reposition themselves on their bases, and it's great. I recently introduced football to my nephew a couple weeks ago, and he is in love with it. Teaching him how to run and how to throw and kind of the rules of football, and it's just been a blast to see that. My dad grilling great food while he listened to Judas properly, and my brother and I played on his gaming PC. Nice. Not a specific memory, but I miss how those childhood summers felt endless. I know, right? And they almost felt too long. Sometimes there's a point, there's actually a passage in this book, Boy's Life, about how there comes to a point where you as a kid are kind of ready and excited for the beginning of school. That school year, new clothes, new seating chart, new friends. It's exciting. Long bike rides at sunset, sticky fingers from melting ice cream, and laughing so hard with friends it hurt to breathe. I love that. You know, as an adult, I love laughing and I love joking and I love comedy, but I know for a fact as a kid, I laughed so hard where I couldn't breathe. And my brother would do just that, make me laugh. And friends in school, just, I could not breathe because I was laughing so hard. And now as an adult, it happens every now and then, but thankfully, my wife is the only person who can do that. She makes me laugh more than anything. And I'm happy she and I can have that child-like fun. You know, we're not too far lost into the life of responsible adults. I live rurally in Britain, Wales, where the sea meets the river and river meets the woods. In early summer, it explodes with bluebells. Reading The Last Unicorn through that at night was enchanting. Oh my gosh, that would be so nice. That would be so nice. My dad lived in England, small village. I can't remember exactly where, but that was a fun summer. A lot of fun walks with my sister and just fields of tall grass. Crazy neighborhood kids, though. And then I remember summer's just so beautiful out there, but all we wanted to do was lock ourselves in her bedroom and play The Sims 2. It just, no sun would be coming through those windows. We'd just be playing on our laptops all day, all night. Ugh, wish I went out more. Just doing whatever I wanted, mostly having time to read, going on camp, celebrating my birthday too, going to see the sea with my friends and family. I love that. I was a delinquent, so we were mostly sneaking and smoking cigarettes, being menaces to society, riding around on our bikes. Hey, Arnold had the best. I know, Jake. He had the best bedroom ever with the remote control and the sofa. So cool. I'm an 80s kid, raised on mixtapes, streetlights on as curfews, and books that smelled like summer afternoons. No wonder nostalgia hits different. That paints a picture. Chasing the dog through the rain, falling with friends, stoking the pit fire, can't beat it. I was just thinking about the other day, I used to laugh what I felt like constantly. I feel like I've lost that ability over time, and it's sad. Not to be a bummer. Not a bummer. I think it's a reality. That is something to ponder, and like, why did I find everything so funny? I look at my nephew, dies laughing. I mean, laughing constantly. And to me, I'm like, that's not that funny, but to him, it's the funniest thing in the world. And that just, it's exciting to see. It's nice to see how you can make a child laugh till the cows come home. Well, I think that about does it for me. This was a great hangout, great discussion about the body. If you haven't read it, give it a read. It's a great summer read. It's short and sweet. And if you haven't read Boy's Life, I'm telling you, perfect summer, autumn, winter read. Captures that endless summer feel and just what it's like being a kid. And then All the Pretty Horses by Cormac McCarthy is the book for August. Take your time. I think it's about, barely 300 pages. And we will discuss that September 1st-ish. Thank you so much for hanging out, having a cup of coffee with me and maybe some tea. And I'm going to go enjoy my sugary PB&J. Till next time, okay? I'll have a new video coming out soon, and we'll all be in touch. We'll hang out and continue this conversation. Cheers.